M is for Mason.
G is for Graham.
B for Betcha.
This is the Mgb Wrestling Podcast, the podcast with PG-rated material accessible to wrestling fans of all ages.
My name is Graham Bagshaw, and my co-host and creator of this podcast is proof that wrestling fans live with their parents. My 10-year-old son, Mason. Alright, Mason, this is normally when I ask you what you did for your week. This is actually episode 19, so we've been in England now for 2 weeks. So we should have been to see our relatives, we should have been to Butlins for a week, and I believe we're actually on the southwest corner of England now. So I think we're actually at Grandma's house, or Granny C's house, and we're getting ready to move to our next location. Alright, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Mgb Wrestling Pod, and you can follow me at Mr. Bagshaw. Also, listen to the other podcasts on the Visionaries Wrestling Network, Ringside Rant on Monday, Caden Nation on Tuesday, Upstate Unplugged on Wednesday, and View from the Top Rope on Thursday. So the card for episode 19 looks like Match 1, birthdays of the upcoming week. Match 2, questions and answers with Mason. Match 3, are you smarter than a 4th grader? Match 4, some more questions and answers with Mason. And Match 5, podcast of the week. And this week we'll have memories from myself, Mason, and this week we're going to also have memories from RJ as well. In Match 1, scheduled for
1 fall.
birthdays of the upcoming week. Alright, Mason, tell us who the 2 people you've picked for this week.
My 2 people are Bret Hart and Terry Funk.
Okay.
Bret Hart turned 71 on June 2nd. Bret Hart was the 8th child of his family, and he grew up with 11 siblings, 7 brothers. Smith, Bruce, Keith, Wayne, Dean, Ras, and Owen, as well as 4 sisters.
Wow, that must have been a big house they lived in.
Yeah. And Owen is on here, and that is actually his brother. I didn't saw, like, the Usos, they're like, you can see they're brothers, but, like, the Dudley boys, they're not brothers. And, like, the Hardys, you don't exactly know if they're brothers or not.
It's possible they're not.
Yeah.
I agree, yeah. Could have been one of those set-up moments, like Kofi Kingston's from Jamaica. It could be, they could have just made that up. Yeah, I did actually know that he was his brother, because I know that when they talk about the Hart family, it's a huge family.
Yeah.
It's got a ridiculous number of members in it, and when you look at all the way the family tree is spread out, yes, I did actually know that part of it. All right, go ahead.
Bret's dad trained superstar Billy Graham. Bret's brother Owen Hart fell off of a roof entering an arena and died.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, entering the ring. Bret and Shawn started a feud, and somehow it turned into a reel, and that was called the Montreal Screwjob.
It was, yeah, and that's one of the most famous moments, and that was the question you got wrong the other day on the quiz. So you said it was 1982, so I'm covering you. 1997, because it was just over 20 years ago.
I'm glad I remembered that, because I didn't write it down.
November 97. I think actually when we asked James, I think he gave the exact date. I remember it's November, but I don't remember anything more than that.
I only remember the year.
Did you say which day his birthday is? I know you said it was coming.
His birthday is Monday.
Oh, it's on Monday. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. And your second person was?
Is Terry Funk, and he is turning 74 on June 30th.
Okay.
And that's a Saturday. Later in Terry's career, his style changed from violent style to a southern style. And Funk elevated ECW by headlining their first ever pay-per-view, Barely Legal, on April 13th, 1997, winning ECW World Heavyweight Championship from Raven.
All right, what's ECW then, Mason?
I don't remember what it stands for.
I guess you can get the W.
Wrestling.
Extreme Championship Wrestling.
Oh, so VCW is Vanguard Championship Wrestling.
Correct.
Okay. And Terry Funk is not for the Funkadactyls. I learned that out.
And that was the question we asked the guys with a view from the top row. I thought that was really funny. But no, that's just one of those coincidences. And it made sense. Like I say, they both had Funk in there. Now, I didn't know much about Terry Funk either, and I know that's why you picked him as one of yours. I've heard more about Terry Funk in the last month, 2 months, than I ever have in all my years combined before. One, because he appeared on the Dinner with the King podcast, so I learned a lot about him from that. And no, and you're not going to listen to that one either. That one got deleted from your iPod. And the other one was The Talk with Mick Foley. And that was his mentor. So he actually guided him through in his younger days. So I didn't know that side of it either. So yeah, I've learned a lot more about Terry Funk recently as well. This is Graham Bagshaw from the Mgb Wrestling Podcast. And this is my second memory of summer holidays. Now, this is from a little younger than what Mason is right now. I'm trying to think. This is actually several holidays. So I think this is between the ages of 5 and probably about 9. And this is actually with my grandparents. And we dedicated episode 15 to my granddad, who died at age 95. And this was with them. It was with my grandma and my granddad. They had a caravan in Wells next to the sea, which is on the east coast of England. And yeah, I think that was my first experience of camping holidays or caravanning holidays. They had a little caravan they used to tow along, and we would stay there. Sometimes my cousins would be there as well. And the thing I remember about it most was just being outside. That whole camping thing, and we had to walk through a forest or some woods to actually get to the town itself. And then once you got to the town itself, I remember there was a beach there. I remember crabbing for the first time and catching crabs. I remember also that they had an amusement arcade. I know I played bingo there. And that was probably also for the same reason. They probably have video games there as well. And that was probably my first experience of video games. Certainly at age 5 and 6, I know I didn't have a computer. That came much later. I think that was around 8, 9, or probably 10. So, yeah, good times with those. And that memory is even more special. Having said, and I guess by the time this comes out, it'll probably be a month after my granddad passed away. And, yeah, it was the perfect memory for that reason. All right, for our second week of questions, let's go straight in. And Magnus and Steele ask, what wrestlers would you like to see live the most?
Oh.
So don't worry about thinking just like in Nova Pro, like anywhere we can go. So we can get on a plane, we can go see whoever you want to go see. Who would you like to see?
I want to see Marty Skrull.
Mm-hmm.
He's a cool guy. Will Ospreay.
Mm-hmm. And we saw those games, and I'm trying to remember originally, those matches. And I think we got some of those names from View from the Top Rope. I think we got some of those names from Kelsey as well. And I saw the couple of matches first, and I was blown away how good they were.
Yeah.
And we watched a couple more together, and yeah, I would kind of like to see that as well, because probably that surprise element. We don't really know that much about them. So I think that would be exciting. Like, if you pick a WWE person, we've seen most of them.
Yeah.
And you know what to expect because you see them every week. But that element that we don't really know them that well, I would agree with something like that as well.
I want to also see the Briscoes.
Who's that? I don't know who that is.
They're in our Ring of Honor.
Oh, okay.
I watched one match with them.
Is it a tag team?
Yes, it's a tag team. They're really cool.
Okay.
One acts like a chicken and one acts like a tough guy. And yeah, well, he's not acting like a chicken. He's just flapping like flapping his arms. And...
All right, well, I'm going to skip around on the questions then, because this one was like question 8, but it seems relevant right now. Jerry Arnold says, what does he think about comedy gimmicks in wrestling? Well, since you just talked about somebody who likes to act like a chicken, I'm going to follow up with that question straight away.
What other...
So what do you think about comedy gimmicks in wrestling? Do you think they're good? Do you think they're bad?
I really like them. Like, Braun Strowman, he's all this tough guy, and he throws, like, people through the walls, and Tim Donst, he's safety first, and all that stuff. I really like those gimmicks.
And Tim Donst at Nova Pro that we go to certainly would be one I would think of straight away, and also the Ugly Ducklings as well.
Yes.
They definitely have that sort of thing in there as well. Yeah, no, I like to laugh when I go to wrestling. Anything that makes me smile and laugh, I say it is called WWE. The E is for entertainment.
Yeah.
And I don't just watch it for the wrestling, I watch it for the comedy side of it as well. And I'm definitely in for all those types of things.
And the Matt Hardy with his delete stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, I think we're both big fans of those comedy gimmicks.
Yes.
Matt Attack asks, what is the ultimate dream match, both possible and fantasy, that Mason would love to see and why? So this kind of leads on from the other one as well. But this is putting people together in a match. So it's got to be first. So the first part is possible means it could happen right now. So you got to pick people who are still wrestling. The fantasy one would be you could pick somebody who's dead versus somebody who's alive, or you can put whoever you want together, or you could pick a fantasy character and a real character. I don't quite know how you're going to do that one. So let's start off with the possible one. So what's your ultimate dream match that you would love to see?
I would like to see a fatal 4-way between Gunnar Miller, Braun Strowman, Eric Royal, and Jordan Grace.
Okay, so you're going Nova Pro then. So you can pick anywhere you like in the whole world.
I know. I would pick
still
3 Nova
Pro
and 1 WWE.
Okay, that's pretty cool. That shows us how much that we really do love Nova Pro.
Yes.
And I think that was one of our first things, even when we said we were going to do the podcast.
Like, they're all really strong.
Oh yeah, we said straight away we want to review Nova Pro as well.
Yes.
That was very clear right from the start. Now that actually sort of links on because Matt Attack did ask as well. In relation to Nova Pro, what's the best Nova Pro match that you've seen in person?
This one's hard.
Yeah.
I've seen lots of Nova Pro matches.
Yeah.
And like they're all like really good. I've never seen one match that I would not have wanted to see. Just Nova Pro matches that I like the best.
Yep. This is tough, and I'm not sure what I would pick. As you were sort of in and R in there, I was trying to think what my favourite one would be, and I saw this as I was typing it in. I was like, oh, that's so tough. It's even tough just to pick the favourite one just from the last thing that we went to see. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that one. I would probably pick a Tim Donst match. Or I could actually pick an Ugly Ducklings match as well. But to me, they're all such good quality matches. It's really difficult to distinguish one single one. I'll tell you one I would pick out, and I was disappointed this one we didn't really get to see the end of. It was Jonathan Gresham and Sonjay Dutt. And Sonjay Dutt got injured in the match, and it looked like they ended it early. That was one of the best matches I thought I'd seen. I really liked that.
I really liked the one when it was Jordan Grace versus, I don't even know his name, but
I think it wasn't Fred Yehai?
He was just beating, it was a man versus a woman.
I thought it was Fred
and,
Yehai.
Yeah, he was totally beating down Jordan Grace, and Jonathan Gresham came out and threw the towel in the middle to disqualify Jordan Grace.
To end the match.
Yes. I really liked that match. It was like 2 powerhouses. And it was really cool to see. I think that was the first ever match that I saw. It was a man versus a woman.
I think that was the first intergender match we saw, definitely. Now, the one other one, the very first one that we went to, we actually left at the end. I was up really early that day.
Yeah.
You had a field trip. And the last match was Eric Royal and Logan Easton Lareau. And that tends to go down as the best match of last year. And I don't remember, did we watch it on the Powerbomb TV afterwards?
No.
So we still haven't watched that.
No.
So that could probably be one of the answers as well, that we would probably have to... Well, I guess we haven't seen that in person. But yes, it's tough to pick a single match because there's so many good ones. At Mr. Bagshaw asks, what are your favourite Nova Pro wrestlers? Now, you might have already answered some of those. He said, what was your favourite match? Now, it might just be that you haven't seen the person that you really like paired up against somebody else. So, any particular Nova Pro wrestlers that you didn't mention there that you want to give a mention to?
I want to give a mention to Ricky Shane Page.
Okay.
I really like him. He's a cool wrestler. Definitely against Tim Donst. And, yeah, he's just this guy who makes funny jokes.
He was a really good sport in that match, because that's not his normal thing. He's more famous for death matches, and he had to play in a comedy gimmick match, and he played it perfectly. Yeah. And I thought that was full credit to him that he has that variety, that he can do all those different things.
And he put Tim Donst in a headlock and said, "This is the safest headlock ever."
He put his safety hat on first for him, which I thought was kind of funny.
And I like Tony Atlas. He was in the Sink or Swim.
He was Hall of Fame, Tony Atlas.
Yeah, Hall of Fame, Tony Atlas. I also really like Benjamin Banks. We got to interview him. He's a really cool guy.
Yep.
And all the WWE wrestlers he's met. Wow, that's just
he has some cool stories. That was fun. He was our first interview, and at the time, he's been our only interview so far.
And I also like Mikey Banker and Bobby Orlando. They're Bobby Orlando. He's a really cool wrestler.
Yep.
And he even during his match, when he went out the ring, he even talked to us while he was in a match. Yeah, he said, "I like your podcast," or something like that.
And he would definitely be one of those gimmick people as well.
Yeah.
He has Bobby Orlando Jr., which is his GOAT, and I would agree. That's definitely a good pick for a wrestler that we haven't mentioned earlier. No.
Oh my god.
Oh, actually, I guess we can redo this.
Yay.
Okay, you ready? You gonna come and sit up?
I could just pick the same people.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, this is week 2. So this time you're going to continue. So you're going to go K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, and T this time. Okay, so you're going to finish on T, and your first letter then we just said was K. So yes, you are going to get to redo this, okay? All right, so once you say your first person for K, then I'll start the clock.
Ken. Shamrock.
Ken Shamrock. All right, go.
Lashley.
Yep.
M.
Yep.
Um.
Good alphabet skills.
Um.
M is a pretty common letter.
Monster Among Men.
All right, I'll accept it. Go on.
And so much pressure.
Yeah.
And stop.
And I'm showing you the
Stop. Stop.
clock now as well.
Stop.
Make sure you set up so we can hear you on the microphone.
And nobody.
You can come back to it if you prefer.
P.
But O.
O.
You forgot.
I
your
know.
alphabet.
I couldn't think of O instantly. So O.
The person who you don't like on SmackDown anymore, female apparently.
Oscar. That's A.
Oh, that is A, isn't it? I got a time penalty then on that one as well.
Oh no.
Sure, Cassius Ono, that's good.
P.
I always write. I'm going to pause the clock for a second, okay? I always put, when I write my notes, I always put Oscar as Oscar when I type it, because it's really weird how she spells it. A-S, is it A-K-A or U-K-A or something? A-S-U-K. It looks really weird, and I'm always afraid I'm going to mess up on the pronunciation, so I always write Oscar as in,
Oscar?
like Oscar the Grouch or the Oscars or something like that. Alright, so I gave you some time to think. We did skip N, but you're on P, so...
I don't even know any for P.
You don't know any for P either. Alright, let's move on to Q.
There's no for... Who's for Q?
There's got to be somebody for Q, surely.
Radioactive. Is that an R?
I thought you said that for Q.
No.
How about Q? How about having the Queen? So you'll have Charlotte Flair.
Yeah,
for
Queen.
Q. Alright. Okay.
Ricochet.
Ricochet. Two more.
S. We forgot N though.
Q got P as well.
S. Shamrock.
Shamrock
Okay.
again. Alright, you got one last T.
T. Tennille.
Neil Dashwood, because I helped you on that last one.
P.
Alright, N and P. Come on, see if you can have a little think on that. Alright, who's the Undertaker's manager?
Paul Heyman. Oh. Paul Bearer.
Paul Bearer. Alright, well that's a
Paul.
P. That's a P, and I think the other one was an N, wasn't it?
Nobody.
Your most played song of WWE
Nakamura.
themes on your iPod,
Nakamura.
and you couldn't even get Shinsuke Nakamura. Alright, do you want to have a look? So last time you did 145. You want to have a look at this one?
Yeah. What's the time penalty?
2:27. Oh, this is my favorite game of all. This was better than any quiz that we've ever done.
Well, what's the time penalty? How much?
It wasn't a time penalty. I let you off the time penalty, and I helped you find 2 as well.
Paul Heyman.
That's alright. I thought Oscar as well.
What about UV?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, good brothers, good sisters, this is me, man, RJ, from the Ringside Rant and Upstate Unplugged, heard only here on the Visionaries Wrestling Network. When Graham came to me the other day and asked for me to be a part of their show, I was completely honored and didn't give it a second thought and definitely said, sure, I'll help you guys out as much as I can. You and Mason over at the Mgb Podcast, heard only on the Visionaries Wrestling Network, to give my memories of growing up during summer vacations from school when I was not playing in 2 or 3 baseball leagues and teams. My two younger brothers and myself and my parents had a family cabin up in just south of the Canadian border here in New York. And we did everything together. You know, we fished, we camped, I did hiking in the woods. You know, just trying to find those little things that little boys always wanted to find in the woods. And then obviously going down to the local creek or river or what have you and go tadpole fishing. And then throughout the summer, seeing as they grow into frogs, as well as obviously behind our house out in the country. Not even out going to the cabin, but yeah, just growing up playing baseball together, playing in leagues together, coaching, umping, just being boys. you know, getting dirty, scuffing your knees, bleeding, you know, rough housing, having camp outs with your friends over the summer, you know, going to birthday parties, having a birthday party myself, being a June baby. Myself and my brother and my other brother all have June and July birthdays, so that was something definitely to look forward to. Was when school let out, you know, we were going to have our birthdays, so that was always something to look forward to, and memories that we've always kept with us. Even now more that I have a 6-year-old son and my brother has a son and a daughter as well. So now we try to create those memories for our kids, as I'm sure Graham can relate to with Mason. But yeah, it was just basically those little things in life that make kids love being kids. You know, going to the baseball games, getting a huge tub of double bubble gum or Twizzlers or whatever, and just going out and playing baseball with your friends, playing flag football, trying not to kill each other in the backyard, whether it be your friends or your family or brothers or what have you, and trying not to get hurt, not trying to jam fingers or thumbs or drawing blood, even though you knew it was going to happen. Boys being boys. And then later on, when my brothers and I became a little bit older, we started getting into wrestling more, started watching SummerSlam on a consistent basis. It was something that we always look forward to. Probably my best memory of that is in the probably about that from 99 all the way up until 2002, before I started my senior year of high school. My brothers and I would sit there and watch SummerSlam. And probably the biggest memory that my middle brother and I had was watching Brock Lesnar beat The Rock for his first heavyweight championship in 2002. I believe it was either 2002 or 2001. I can't be exact on that, but you know, and that was that kind of thing that it was our escape from reality, and it still is for both of us. But yeah, it was just basically great being boys during the summer, because we knew once the Labor Day hit, we had a festival and a carnival around the corner from us at the fire hall. And we knew once we went to that, the summer was over and school was right around the corner the next day. So it was kind of a little bit sad for us, but it was a great ending to a great summer. So you can follow me on Twitter at RJ_Kruzinski. It's KRUSZYNSKI on Twitter. You can follow my show's Twitter handle at Rant Unplugged for both Ringside Rant, which airs on Mondays at 11 o'clock Eastern Time, and Upstate Unplugged, which airs on Wednesdays at 11 o'clock Eastern Time on Wednesdays as well. So, Graham, I appreciate you asking me to come on your show and help you out. And Mason, you're the man, you're the myth, you're going to be a legend in podcasting, and both of you keep up the good work, and I can't wait to see what you guys have coming out on the Mgb podcast coming out soon. So, take care. And hopefully we'll talk soon. And as always, you know what it is. Embrace the vision, my friends.
Paul Tolley asks, what's your favourite bar snack? I don't know how you're going to answer that question, but do you need any interpretation for this question?
Yeah.
All right, so a bar, it's just like a pub. So it would be like something you get to when you have. So it's not really a meal, but it'd be like a bag of chips or something, or pork scratchings, or peanuts, or I guess something like that, perhaps full of pretzels or something like that, perhaps. I guess it could be like an appetizer.
McCoy's.
I guess you could get those as well. So you're going back to your other answer. See, it could be like I guess we could interpret as well. That could be like an appetizer as well. Like if you go to somewhere like Hard Times or something like that. I really
like Not Your Average Joe's bread in their dip.
Oh, that's a pretty good one, actually. Yeah, they make homemade bread on their site, and they also have oil that you can dip it into as well. That's a pretty good one. Yeah, I would say that would definitely be classed as a bar snack as well. Magnus and Steele ask, how would you compare American snacks and candy to British ones? I don't know how much British candy you know, actually.
I know. I've had Miss Bannister. She's English, and she went to England, and she bought us a whole bag of English candy, and it had these things they were like Laffy Taffies. Yeah, and they were very chewy. They had like fruit flavors. So that's like Laffy Taffy, and they have lollipops, and they have Love Hearts.
Love Hearts, yeah.
And they're like Smarties, and
Now, when you're saying
Pop
Smarties, you're talking about American Smarties,
Yes.
because English Smarties are very different. English Smarties, I guess, are closer to M&Ms.
Oh.
So, but yes. No, I would say from all those things that you've said then, they're pretty similar.
Yes, they're pretty similar.
Mm-hmm. And I would kind of agree with that. The only thing I would say that's different is I think the chocolate is much better in England than it is in America. I'm not a big fan of Hershey's. I much prefer the Cadbury that you can get in England. But I think that would be my only exception to that. We already did the comedy gimmick question because I skipped out of order. The Matt Attack UK asks, least favourite current superstar. And I guess we can do tag team as well for that.
The singles one is hard, but the tag team is definitely the New Day.
That's what I thought that would be. I'll give you a softball question first. Least favourite single. I thought that was a lot more difficult to answer, actually.
My least favorite
Because if they're not very good, they're not on very much.
No.
So it's kind of weird. It's almost like, who is the best of the worst people?
I'm kind of tired of Asuka.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
wow, that
really.
surprises me. I would not have thought you'd have picked Asuka.
I don't really like her anymore. When
Okay.
she had her streak, I didn't want her to lose, and now she didn't. Like, there's nothing really that special about her.
Okay.
anymore.
I'm trying to think who mine would be. I don't have any obvious ones. I'm trying to think of somebody who I'd grown when... actually, if my tag team, I would probably also add in the Bar as well. I'm really tired of the Bar now. I don't like them at all. I'd much rather I know the
I don't
Hardys
like
got injured. I was happy when the Hardys were the tag team title. As a singles person, I don't know. I can't think of a real singles person that I don't like. Because if they're no good, they're not on.
Yeah.
So no, I think that's a tough question. Perhaps if we think of an answer, we'll come back and answer that one later. I'm certainly not going to ask you your least favourite superstar from Nova Pro. That would be very unfair to do that. All right,
I probably can't.
Dave Pazewski asks, what do you think of rumours of WWE SmackDown moving to a new network? Will it help or hurt SmackDown? So to give you some background to the story, because I was listening to World Class Radio and they were talking about this. So it looks like, I think it was World Class Radio, they were talking about the fact that I think it's NBC that's going to buy Raw, but they might not necessarily buy SmackDown. So they could split those two up, because Raw's obviously better. And SmackDown, they might put in a bid for it, they might get it, they might not get it. So what do you think about that going on two separate channels?
I think SmackDown would not do better because they are the B show. They don't have these big stars. Mm-hmm. And I really don't like SmackDown as much as Raw. And if they split those two apart, there's not the superstar shake-up anymore, and they won't get those big stars from Raw, and it'll most likely just be the same old people except from different promotions that they get.
Now, I'm going to say, I don't think it's going to hurt them, actually, because I don't think it matters. If you're a wrestling fan, you're going to watch both anyway.
Yeah.
You might not like... So I don't think it matters. I don't think anyone cares what channel it's on. You're just going to watch it. Unless, I can't imagine, if you pay that amount of money, and it's going to be a lot to bid for those packages, you're going to do the best quality you can with that. So I don't think it matters. And I'm pretty sure when I used to watch it, they used to have it on different channels. I seem to remember one being on like Spike TV and one being on USA. So I don't think it makes any difference at all with regards to that. I think SmackDown's actually got better. I think they actually got the better deal out of that superstar shake-up.
Because they don't have as many people, as many superstars, and they can only lose so many stars, but Raw has like unlimited stars.
Raw has certainly more, but I thought SmackDown got the better of the deal.
Yes.
I think the thing that will actually hurt SmackDown possibly more is rumours of the SmackDown going to 3-hour show as well, because I don't think they have as many stars like you just said. I think they would struggle to sustain a 3-hour show, and to be honest, I think Raw struggles to sustain a 3-hour show. I would much rather it go to 2 hours, or even perhaps 2.5. I think that last hour, half hour, whatever it is, or the first hour, I guess, to say it the other way, isn't so good. So that would be my feeling on that one. And our last question this week is Super Kicking It with Kelsey asks, who would you most like to super kick in the head? Now, this was actually a joke question to begin with. When I first put this out on the internet, and this was probably about 3 weeks ago, because I just wanted to see what questions we would get. And I can't remember what my joke questions were. I think I had a joke. I was going to joke about Paul Tolley says, what's your something to do with favourite snack? And in the end, he did ask that. And I can't remember what the other ones I said. Oh, I think I said Blade Job, what's your favourite cuss word, mate?
Yeah.
Which obviously you're not answering either. And he didn't ask that. And I was just trying to think of other people, and it just made sense with Kelsey having super kicking it there. Who would you? And it's so unlike her as well. She's the nicest person. And she actually said, no, I do want to know that. Who would you most like to super kick in the head? So, New Day?
Yeah, New Day.
That's it?
Yep.
All right. I was hoping I might get a little bit more out of you on that one.
Like, I hate the New Day. I can't stand them. The next one I'm going to talk about is Brooklyn. So I remember Nathan's Hot Dogs. That was a good restaurant we went to, and they're the best hot dogs ever. And there was we went to see, the main reason we were in Brooklyn was for the World Baseball Classic. It was Pakistan versus Brazil versus Israel versus Great Britain, and it was a knockout tournament. I remember we got to see all of them except for the final, which was Israel versus Great Britain. And we were rooting for Great Britain because we were from Great Britain. The Cyclones, they have this little picture in the outfield of an amusement park. Well, their logo has an amusement park on it. And I remember going to the amusement park right near the stadium. And I remember a Superman ride, and it was, you had to lay down on this little bar, and you were positioned like Superman, and I remember it took so many sharp turns. I felt like I was about to fly out of there. And we were near a boardwalk, so we used to go on the boardwalk and go waiting on the beach every day. Every time we had to wait between games for, like, if it was Pakistan versus Brazil, and then the next time it was Israel versus Great Britain, it was about a 2-hour wait for each match, and we went waiting on the beach, looked around Brooklyn, got some hot dogs. I had a lot of fun there.
For episode 19, my podcast of the week, I went with Pro Wrestling Recap episode 16 featuring Rikishi. Now, on iTunes, it describes this podcast as an entertaining and informative look back at the week's top stories from around the world of professional wrestling. Hosts Chris Spisak and 12-year wrestling veteran Silky Baines, you nearly got some competition there, Mason, get you up to speed on the latest headlines from WWE, NJPW, Ring of Honor, Impact, and more. They have 16 5-star ratings on iTunes, and one of their reviews was, I listened to the first 2 episodes and got hooked. They are short to the point episodes and cover all the major promotions in pro wrestling. Both Chris and Silky keep it real, and they have good chemistry. I hope they do special episodes related to major pay-per-views, but keep it short. Some podcasts last longer than the events they cover, which is too much. I'm looking forward to listening to their future episodes. And that was the thing that appealed to me first as well. This was actually the first episode I'd actually listened to, and it was about 30 minutes. They did the recap, and they also got an interview in with Rikishi. So I also picked this one for while we're away on holiday as well. Because even if you might not want to go back and listen to the review of what happened that week, the interview with Rikishi was really good. Sounds like a really cool guy. They expected like a short interview. They got a long interview. It sounded like he hung around to do a Periscope with them as well. And also he talks about how he's working with wrestlers now and some of the causes that he's actually trying to help fight as well. So try not to give too many spoilers there, but certainly one that's worth going back and checking. Probably not one for the kids. I actually listened to episode 17 and I didn't notice it in 16, but certainly there was way too much language that I won't be letting Mason listen to for that one. But go check them out, Pro Wrestling Recap.
It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him.
Goodbye.
The music was Zigzag by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0, http://creativecommons.org/licenses/by/3.0.